Now from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 11.
We are following breaking news right now at 11 where CMPD has confirmed it is investigating a homicide. You can see this massive police presence right now in West Charlotte right now. We have learned one person is dead from a gunshot and one person has been rushed to the hospital. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Erica Bryant.
And I'm Paul Boyd. This is all happening along Oregon Street near Rozelle's Ferry Road. Rozelle's Ferry is partially shut down right now. Just in the last 30 minutes, Eyewitness News reporter Joe Bruno spoke to a witness who heard the gunshots. Joe?
Yeah, as soon as he heard those gunshots, Paul, he saw police flying to the scene. Here you can see police are at Rozelle's Ferry and Oregon Street outside the Malay Mini Mart. CSI on scene. What we're not showing you right now is the body that is underneath a sheet on the road. Now, I've been talking with witnesses to piece together the multiple crime scenes. And you just saw the first crime scene. The second scene is right down here, fast stop number 2. This is another mini mart within walking distance of where the shooting took place. I'm told by a witness that one person who survived the gunshots actually walked over to fast stop number 2. I then saw that person be put into an ambulance. He was taken to the hospital. We'll be checking to find out how severe those injuries are. Now, as I said, this is still a moving investigation. There are 2 crime scenes right now. We are asking if anybody is in custody. We're also asking for the identity of the person who was shot and killed. Now, this is the 36th homicide of the year. This caps off a very violent Memorial Day weekend. This is the 4th homicide of Memorial Day weekend. Reporting live in West Charlotte, I'm Joe Bruno, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Joe. And as he just mentioned, this is part of a violent Memorial Day weekend here in Charlotte. CMPD has investigated 4 homicides since Friday, bringing the total number up to 36 for this year. That is twice as many homicides as Charlotte had by this time last year. Channel 9 has been covering the rise in crime extensively. You can find our coverage along with updates on this latest homicide on WSOCTV.com.
Developing tonight, a heartbreaking tragedy. A 5-year-old drowned at a local pool.
And the next thing I know, I heard him was screaming.
Now at 11, a witness describes the moments when people tried to save that little boy's life.
Now, we're told that the little boy was at this Statesville apartment complex at the pool when things turned tragic.
Eyewitness News anchor Liz Foster spoke to a woman who says she saw the whole chaotic scene.
Residents told us this apartment pool just opened this weekend for the summer. We spoke with one woman who witnessed people try to save that boy's life.
I heard him was screaming.
The panic and heartbreak that followed that screaming is why this woman doesn't want to be identified. She was at the Signal Hill apartment pool this afternoon when police say a 5-year-old boy drowned.
My son run to the door and told the landlord to call 911.
She told us there were several people in and around the pool, and the boy's parents were just outside the fence. That little boy had just been playing with this woman's 4-year-old grandson.
He'll keep on saying, "Mama, what about my little friend?" And we just tell it we don't know yet.
She says several people rushed to try to save the boy's life, including one of her friends who works at a nearby hospital.
She started doing CPR on it, and he did get a breath or 2, she said, and water come out, but, you know, he didn't make it.
Now, at the entrance to the apartment pool, this pool closed sign and a padlock on the gate. Statesville's police chief confirms the department is investigating the tragic accident. In Statesville, Liz Foster, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Just a tragic story there. Our thoughts and prayers certainly with that little boy's family tonight. As soon as we learn more about this developing story, we will post any updates at WSOCTV.com. Breaking news right now out of Northeast Charlotte, where Channel 9 crews just arrived on the scene of this house fire. It's on Bearwood Avenue, right off of Sugar Creek Road. Now, it looks like the flames may be out, but you can see all the damage here. In some spots, you still see a little smoldering in parts of the home. We are there on the scene asking if anyone was injured in all this and what caused it. We'll bring you updates as soon as we learn more.
Right now, more than 1,000 people across the Charlotte area are still without power after a line of storms pushed through the area tonight. Many neighborhoods saw heavy downpours and strong winds. And even though the rain has pushed out for the most part, Chief Meteorologist Steve Udelson is monitoring the possibility of fog for our morning commute. Steve.
Yeah, Paul, the showers and storms that raced through around the dinner hour are history. The last showers clearing Richmond and Chesterfield counties. A couple of very light showers up across the high country. Charlotte area, I believe, is pretty much over and done with the chance for rain. But with this ground totally saturated yet again by more rain, patches of fog, visibility's dipping below a mile and below a half mile in some communities. That means Keith may be tracking fog for the early morning drive tomorrow. We'll talk about how soon the fog will lift and whether we'll see more thunderstorms tomorrow.
Thanks, Stephen. Yes, we will have an update on the conditions ahead of the morning drive tomorrow on Eyewitness News Daybreak. We have traffic and weather every 10 minutes starting at 4:30 a.m.
Breaking news tonight, police in Salisbury are investigating a shooting after being called to a disturbance at an apartment complex. Officers say it all happened at the Laurel Point Apartments just after 6:30 tonight. They say they couldn't find the victim at the scene, but that he showed up later at the hospital. Police say all of this started with some sort of argument. It's unclear tonight how the victim is doing.
Investigators plan to be back out on scene tomorrow after spending hours searching for a possible missing kayaker on Tuckertown Lake. A passerby called 911 after spotting an empty one-seater kayak tipped over in the water on the Davidson and Rowan County line. Rescue crews found it pushed up against High Rock Dam in about 20-foot deep rushing water with fishing poles nearby. Rescue agencies searched for about 7 hours today before suspending their efforts this afternoon. They did not find anything and don't know if someone abandoned the kayak or if the kayaker fell in the water.
We're trying to see if anybody will call in, and just any information we can get at this point, would help us to try to continue the investigation. But right now, it's a missing kayaker.
We also spoke to a man who has been fishing in the lake most of his life. He said he wouldn't feel comfortable putting a kayak in because of the fast current from High Rock Dam.
People need to use a little bit more safety messing around with fast water like this because it can be dangerous.
Investigators are now obtaining missing person reports within a 50-mile radius.
Some new developments tonight. Police in Manchester have released new images of the suspect in that deadly terror attack from last week. Take a look. Police releasing these images of Salman Abedi with the blue suitcase there in his hand. They say he had that suitcase in the city between May the 18th and May the 22nd. They're asking for the public's help now to find this bag. And today, another man was arrested in connection with the bombing outside the Ariana Grande concert, bringing the total number of people in custody to 14. 22 people were killed in the attack.
It was a very sad day for the family of Marlo Medina Chavez. The Uber driver was brutally murdered last week. Medina was laid to rest this afternoon. More than 1,000 people attended his funeral. There were so many mourners, the church could not hold all of them. The 44-year-old man was remembered for his generosity and his kindness. Victor Cruz was a close friend of 20 years.
This is a very difficult time for all of us that know him for so many years. He was a wonderful man, and that's the reason why so many people have come to the family.
The community has been raising money to help support his family. People have already donated more than $38,000.
Tonight, growing scrutiny against President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner. In a statement today, the president defended him in the wake of reports that he tried to set up a secret line of communications with Russia. But some members of his own party say they are troubled by these reports.
I don't like it. I just don't. I know that some administration officials are saying, well, that's standard procedure. I don't think it's standard procedure.
Democrats now want Kushner to testify before the House and Senate. Some are even calling for a review of his security clearance.
New developments. Cary police say a burglary suspect fired a stolen gun at officers before they returned fire, killing him. Police say Shaquan Johnson robbed several cars and stole a gun out of one of them. When officers arrived, one reported hearing that gun being fired and seeing a flash from the muzzle. Tonight, officers say their focus is on those that are hurting.
We are heartbroken that a mother will never see her son again. And we are mindful that a dedicated public servant will never, ever forget what has happened.
The shooting is under review by the State Board of Investigation.
Some new details tonight. Tiger Woods is blaming medication for his DUI arrest. We have the golf star's mugshot taken at the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office this morning. It's unclear if Woods actually tested positive for drugs or alcohol, or if anyone was in the vehicle with him when he was arrested. Now, Woods has released a statement that reads in part, "I understand the severity of what I did, and I take full responsibility for my actions. I want the public to know that alcohol was not involved. What happened was an unexpected reaction to prescribed medication." We got video of this bear. It was spotted in Waxhaw, and officials say it appears to be wandering closer to Charlotte.
And we showed you this video last night of a black bear taking the garbage from a Waxhaw home. And today, Waxhaw police told us a black bear was spotted in a Matthews subdivision. Officials say it's not unusual for these sightings this time of year. And if you see the bear, just leave it alone.
Our main thing is just to give the bear room, give it a chance to move through the area, and not follow it around and run it up a tree somewhere, which creates a problem.
Sergeant Layton says they're not typically aggressive and likely will not come after you or your pet.
We continue to stay on top of the breaking news coming out of West Charlotte, where police are investigating a homicide there. Officials confirming one person is dead, another person taken to the hospital after a shooting. Right now, we can tell you police officers on the scene have their guns drawn. They're yelling out commands. We have a crew there working to learn more details about what's going on. We'll bring you updates as soon as we learn more.
Two things touched off the thunderstorms earlier. Temperatures in the upper 80s and a cold front moving through. I'll show you if the front will finally put an end to the storms.
A surprising sighting. A local woman says she found this alligator while she was just driving down the road.
I can't believe that. I don't know where it came from.
New at 11, how experts believe it likely got there.
Back to breaking news that we've been following since the start of this newscast. Police say they are investigating a homicide in this West Charlotte neighborhood, and that scene is now getting very intense. Our crews are safe. Let's say that first and foremost, but they tell us that they have heard gunshots. Police are screaming, "Get back." They have taken cover. This is along Roselle's Ferry Road near Lakewood Avenue. Reporter Joe Bruno on the scene, along with our photographer Joey. Officers tell us that one person was killed at this location, another was hurt and has been taken to hospital after a shooting. There are several scenes along this stretch of road. We, of course, are continuing to monitor this. We are staying at a safe distance, exactly where police are telling us to be. We will check in with Joe Bruno as soon as it is safe to talk to Joe. We obviously also don't want to compromise the police investigation by bringing live pictures until we are able to do that from a safe vantage point. Obviously, a lot of questions still tonight. We are staying on the scene. Stay with us. We'll bring you back there as soon as we have an update on that development.
All new information tonight. A Clover woman says that she was driving down the highway when she saw this, an alligator.
Eyewitness News reporter Joe Bruno, before he was on the scene of this breaking story, caught up with this woman about this odd sighting and found out what she thought about how it got there.
There's a lot of traffic now.
Faye Buchanan has lived in Clover her whole life. She's seen a lot change over the years, but saw something over the weekend that she never expected.
I said, oh my God, I was calling the York County saying, come get this alligator before somebody gets bit.
You heard her right. She says she spotted an alligator in York County. She took these photos of the reptile crawling along Barrett Road Sunday night.
Watch around your pools and your ponds because they're here. They're in Clover, South Carolina.
Chances are you're not going to find an alligator on the side of the road, but we dug through the archives and found out gators have been spotted in York County in the past. In 2015, two fishermen say they spotted a 2-foot gator near the Copperhead Island access area of Lake Wylie. In 2014, two kids were playing in the lake when they say they spotted a gator as well. We even found this video from 1999 of one swimming in Lake Wylie. Experts say these sightings aren't common, and if a gator is in our neck of the woods, it's because somebody likely took it from its real home as a pet and released it here. Buchanan thinks the gator was trying to get to nearby water and hopes she never sees another one in York County.
I'm just glad it's gone.
Joe Bruno, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And you can see those gator pictures again on WSOCTV.com. They are posted inside Joe's story on the homepage. And just in case you're wondering, in North Carolina, it's against the law to hunt an alligator, but wildlife officials are trying to decide whether that should change. The sport was banned nearly 45 years ago, and Concerns were that it could strain the population of alligators in North Carolina. If the law does change, hunting would still be closely regulated, and it would only be allowed along the southeast coast.
We go back to the breaking news we've been following for the past 30 to 45 minutes. This is at Roswell's Ferry in Oregon Street, where we know one person has been killed by gunshot, another person injured by gunshot. We do have our Joe Bruno there reporting from this scene, and our crew has had to move back. They tried to leave the scene as earlier they were hearing some gunshots, hearing officers saying, stay back, hands up. So this is growing in intensity here. We do have this video from a short time ago. We don't want to go live from the scene again to possibly compromise the investigation. But again, very active scene now. Media being pushed back. Officers out there on the scene appearing to be in conversation or trying to take someone into custody or get them to come out. But again, the 36th homicide of the year taking place here along Roswell's Ferry. One person gone to the hospital with a gunshot wound, another person dead from a gunshot wound. We will continue to gather more details as soon as it's safe to from our crew, and we'll share that with you.
Let's get over to Chief Meteorologist Steve Udelson now. A very busy night in terms of severe weather threats, Steve. Thankfully, most of that moving out.
It is on its way out, Paul. We're looking at much better weather. We did have some reports of trees down. Stanley, Lowesville, number of trees down. Huntersville had some trees down as that initial batch moved through about 5:30 this evening. And we've got a few more scattered showers across the high country. These are light showers, no big storms. Moving toward Morganton around midnight. Granite Falls and Hickory between 12:30 and 1. That's going to break up as it moves toward the Charlotte area. And as I mentioned, Keith may be tracking patches of fog first thing tomorrow morning. That'll be the worst of it. We'll be around 70 or so by 9 a.m. Heat index tomorrow, a little more tame than it was during the day today. We're going to have a lot more cloud cover, even though the cold fronts push by. The clouds will linger at least the first half of the day. Notice the temperatures back into the middle 80s as we head through tomorrow afternoon. So, yeah, it's still going to feel like early summer. There are the clouds through lunchtime. Gradually, the cold front that set off today's storms gets shoved into the South Carolina Midlands, parting the clouds. I'm not going to rule out a shower. Most neighborhoods stay dry tomorrow. In Hickory, forecasting lower 80s. An afternoon shower, again, can't be ruled out. Wadesboro, same story. Highs in the mid-80s. Pretty decent dose of humidity. Rain chances going to remain fairly low through midweek. Next cold front comes at us on Friday, enhancing our rain chances again. But as far as cold air, no, come on. It's late May, early June. That's just not going to happen. 5-day forecast talking about the warmth. Temperatures remain for the most part into the middle 80s as we head on through the late week. Overnight lows will be in the 60s. And again, rain chances start to pick up as we head through Friday into Saturday. With your weekend always in view, looks like we'll dry out some by Sunday.
Okay, that sounds good. And
Yeah.
watch out for the kids in the morning. Fog at the bus
A little
stop.
bit of fog, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Back to breaking news now that we've been following in West Charlotte. Police say that they are investigating a homicide in this West Charlotte neighborhood, and that scene became very intense a short while ago. Our crews tell us that they heard gunshots after the police were on the scene investigating, and we have seen police running along Roswell's Ferry Road near Lakewood Avenue. Officers tell us that one person was killed at this scene earlier this evening, and another was hurt after a shooting. Joe Bruno is on the scene, along with a photographer for WSOC TV, bringing us images. This was shot just a short time ago, and we are respecting the police investigation as they try and take someone we believe into custody. So we're not bringing you live pictures. We're turning around the video so that you can get a glimpse of what's going on scene there. I can tell you that our crews are safe. They are holding in place until police tell them that they can safely leave the scene. We were in the process of leaving when those gunshots rang out, and we'll stay on top of this story here on WSOC TV and, of course, online throughout the evening. A local man has been trying to get the Department of Veterans Affairs to make changes to the Salisbury National Cemetery.
Yes, right now, names of 3,500 Union soldiers are not written at the gravesite. Mark Hughes says that the soldiers died between 1864 and 1865 while they were being held captive at the Confederate prison in Salisbury. Well, they were all buried in 13 trenches. The VA installed a monument here to recognize them, but Hughes says that the information on that monument is all wrong.
It would not disrupt the trenches. It would honor these people, and it would give their relatives a place to get closure.
The VA told Hughes that the current monument properly marks the site, and it declined all of his requests to change it.
Back to breaking news in West Charlotte. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Bruno is on the phone from a homicide investigation. Joe, you were covering the story for us at the start of the news, and then things seemed to spiral out of control. What exactly happened?
Well, Paul, we're crouching behind our SUV right now at the instruction of police. Shortly after we finished our live shot, we heard multiple gunshots. And after we heard those noises, we rushed over to the police officers to make sure we heard what we thought we heard, and they confirmed that, yes, those were gunshots. We were getting in our car, getting ready to leave the scene when we heard more gunshots. And at that point, we saw police rush down the street with their guns drawn, pointing in a direction. At that point, we had to take shelter behind our vehicle. And from there, we could only just hear what police were saying. But we heard police yell, "Get your arms up, get your arms up." We heard them yelling to stay back, get back. And then they eventually came back over to us and moved us once again. Right now, it is pretty quiet. We haven't moved because we haven't been told by the police that it's safe for us to move. We know that CMPD's helicopter is circling right now. We do not have any update on where those shots were coming from. We heard, I think I heard about 5 or 6 gunshots. It was a very intense scene that we just got caught up in the middle of here. But we are both okay. The other reporters that are on the scene are okay. All the police officers are okay as well. It's just unclear where those people were firing from and where they are right now.
Well, Joe, we're glad that you all are okay. Please try to stay safe. I've been following you on your Twitter account, and a moment ago you said that a woman ran past the crime scene tape?
Yes. So that woman ran past the tape. She's concerned about the reason why we're here at the scene is this person who was shot and killed outside the mini mart. She was saying that she thinks she's family of this man who was shot and killed. Police officers really, because they've been dealing with these gunshots, they haven't been over at that scene right now, so nobody's really investigating that. We are waiting for the medical examiner to identify that body, but right now we don't have any further updates on that case. So she was just trying to get some more information out of this scene.
And multiple scenes from what we've understood tonight. Talk us through exactly how things are laid out there.
Right, so 2 people were shot outside the Malay Mini Mart. That's about a block from where we are, and actually, Paul, as I chat with you on the phone, I see officers in SWAT gear walking right by me right now. So the scene is still pretty intense as officers with more gear walk by. Unclear what they're doing here, but we are awaiting further instruction from them. But as I was saying, 2 people were shot outside the Malay Mini Mart. The one person who was shot walked over to another mini mart about a block from there. He was taken to the hospital, and the other person died on Oregon Street. And Paul and Erica, I'm going to have to let you go as more officers with tactical gear walk by us. We're just going to make sure that we're in a safe position and see what's going on right here.
Go, Joe, and we're going to cut away. We want to remind you we have not been bringing you live pictures. We do not want to compromise what's going on. These are all images from earlier this evening, and we'll be right back with more.
We are back now live at 11:32, staying on top of breaking news. If you're just joining us, since about 10:40 this evening, we've been following this very intense scene along Roswell's Ferry Road and Oregon Street, the scene of the 36th homicide. Police still investigating. Our crew there on the scene, trying to stay safe, trying to stay back. We'll bring you updates on air and online at WSOCTV.com.
Full forecast and that breaking news all online. Stay with us.